Yahoo Daily Fantasy Football podcasts are presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Get excited because they are running it back. That's right, the $1 million baller, and I can't believe it, but they're doing the same thing again with Overlay. $250,000 guaranteed in Overlay coming out of Yahoo's pocket. One of the best valued tournaments you're ever going to find. On top of that, even tonight in Daily Fantasy Basketball, they've got a $100,000 tournament with $25,000 in guaranteed Overlay. Take advantage of these great promotions over at Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Gillcast. I'm back from my trip last weekend. Well, they were recording last weekend. I was on an airplane, spent the weekend in a hot air balloon, and I spent that weekend in a band DFS state. And I don't actually know. Did you guys actually include my lineup in the show? But it probably would have been better for me to not reg for contest before I went.
Oh yeah, we clowned the hell out of you, bro.
We fished it last week, dude.
I don't even remember what I did, but I know my team was not very good.
Yeah, do you remember logging into your DK account this week and like seeing a lot less money than the week before?
Yeah,
I would
have to hit that deposit button.
I would be absolutely off the cliff. It had not been a good NBA week because similar results this week to last week. First two. I believe this is the first time I've lost 2 weeks in a row this year. I'm not sure, but yeah, guys, this is the Gillcast. We're here on RG, Davis Mattek, Nate Nohling, Sammy Reid, and we're not going to lie to you. This is going to be a dejected show. There were we went 0 for 3 in cash games this week.
This is definitely the Gillcast edition of the Gillcast. We're all huge fish.
I'm looking at my lineup right now, and I don't feel particularly bad about any of it.
We played Juju over Devontae. We all fished it.
So that was not great. But, just some running bad here and there.
It was like a 23-point swing.
Relying. I mean, I probably wasn't ever going to play Devontae over Juju in cash, though.
Devontae just smashes every single week.
Yeah. And you continue to tell me I'm a fish for wanting him on Wednesdays every week when I throw.
I didn't tell you he was bad this week.
You said Juju is probably bad.
No Juju, I think theoretically still was probably bad. I guess the big thing in here, we'll just go ahead and get into it. Let's just get into it. Quarterback, I went Brady. Sammy, who did you go?
I also went Brady.
So Nate, you went Lamar. How much did he get?
18. He lost the rushing bonus. He had it and then took a 4-yard loss and ended up with 98 yards or something.
I really enjoyed the midday tweet storm from Nate. Like, this is a microcosm of my day. This is just how it's going to be. He just gets the bonus, loses it. Like, I'm just going to lose all my money. I know it.
He gets up to 104 and then takes like a 6-yard loss. And I literally am just like, oh my God, this is happening.
So big tactical error by me. I just don't even know if Brady really has a ceiling anymore, Sammy. I think we just kind of messed up with Brady.
I'm gonna take the L. So Brady was like my cash lock of the week. I was just like, dude.
I put him in on my Monday shell and I never changed it.
Yeah, I mean, New England just always shreds Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has not changed their defensive scheme since like Dick LeBeau started in the '90s, and Brady and the Patriots just always take advantage of it. They just always spread the Steelers out.
That was not my logic. That was not
my logic.
My logic was the Patriots have this above league average offense. The Steelers have this not great defense. This is the highest total game of the week. There should theoretically be a ton of pass attempts in this game. And what happened is the Patriots, they're just old and creaky, and the only throws Brady can make is when dudes are literally uncovered. Those are the only throws he can make in the year of our Lord 2018.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing where I didn't take into account that the Patriots are actually bad and Tom Brady is dusty.
It's not that they're bad. It's just that they're not good anymore. I think that's like a key criteria here is that the Patriots are not the capital P Patriots anymore.
Bro, when he hit Hogan for 63 yards,
I was like, it's lit. We're going to get all of our money back. I was so ready. I was like, it's all done. Brady's going to get 25. It's going to be high. Juju's going to get 30. We are ready to go.
Yeah, I took my pants off, and really soon after that, I had to put them back on. And clasp the drawstrings and tighten my belt, and they never came off again.
So, Nate, the reason that I did not want to play Lamar is basically just I didn't really think Tampa Bay could hang in this game enough to make Baltimore throw at all. And they did run. They just absolutely ran this entire game. But I guess
49 times.
Yeah, 40. I mean, is that the most of any team in the NFL this year? I feel like that's got to be the most rushing.
I'm sure it is.
So basically my thought was just you're really like he's got to get the 100-yard bonus to get 20 was my thinking with Lamar. And I just was like, I thought Brady had an easier path to 25 than Lamar did.
Yeah. I mean, what we're seeing with Lamar right now with the amount of rushing attempts that he has, like, I mean, literally since week 11, we've seen 27 rushing attempts, 11 rushing attempts, 17 rushing attempts, 13 rushing attempts, and 9 rushing attempts, or 19 rushing attempts this week. It's like, it's hard for me not to play that guy at quarterback at 19 or, 5,900. I mean, his like floor is like he automatically starts with like 12 DraftKings points.
Did Josh Allen have more DK points than him today? I don't even know.
Probably
because Allen had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Lamar didn't get the other than So the Lamar thing was tilting because I mean
But Josh Allen only ran for 16 yards.
Yeah. The thing about Lamar is like literally he's going to be in play every week, no matter the matchup, no matter the game script, simply because what Baltimore like wants to do is make him like just a running back. I think I don't know. It's different than like a passing quarterback who has some floor because of like a couple rushing attempts. This is like
Dak.
Literally
Dak
project
Dak
like
gets
14.
like 4 rushing attempts or whatever.
Yeah.
It is different.
Yeah, this is a running back who throws the ball like 18 times a game.
Yeah, we're talking like 14 projected running attempts for a quarterback. It's nothing like, I mean, we don't have anything else like this.
I just like the only other quarterback I would have played, I guess, would have been Ben. He was the only guy. And what did he even do? Like, I don't think
he didn't do squat, bro. He like smashed in the first half. He had 150 and 2 touchdowns at the half. And then this game turned into a straight run fest. They just went back to 1964 and started running the ball all the time, both teams. It was freaking wild. Like, I'm so tilted.
I guess what's kind of interesting is that this big tournament on Yahoo, like all these guys from this game were big time chalk. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not, and I did this on DraftKings too. I was just like, it's a gross slate. So everyone's going to the one game with a decent total, but there's just like no reason to do that. So I did get fading this game right. Like, Antonio Brown scored a touchdown, but he didn't have a great game. I mean, I guess the only one who had a
Samuels.
He was the only one who had like a really good fantasy game, and he was the one guy I used. But I mean, some of my other reads were really wrong. But how did you guys approach this game for tournaments?
I had a lot of Ben exposure.
I had just a lot of I actually had a lot of AB exposure because I felt like most people would be on Juju, and AB tends to smash at home. And even though I do think AB is definitely not what he was a season ago or 2 seasons ago, I mean, he's still like one of the 10 best receivers in the NFL, and I thought he could potentially smash. And I had a ton of Samuels, and I had a ton of Brady stacks to like Gronk, and I
definitely made sure to use 0% Rob Gronkowski.
I mean, that's actually smart because you don't want to, play tackles.
You don't get points for pancake blocking on Yahoo.
No, I was really disappointed that they did not have Jalen Samuels tight end eligible in daily.
Oh, that would have been lit.
Yeah, that was a shock.
Yeah. So running backs, you guys both went Barkley. I went Zeke, Mixon, Samuels. You guys both had Mixon and Samuels as well.
Yeah.
Barkley, Mixon, Samuels.
I mean, Samuels and Mixon they were just locks. Like,
yeah, Mixon was 73% owned. Samuels was only 42. I was a little surprised at that.
I think that was just because of like the slight chance that Connor would play. I think that's the only reason he wasn't higher.
Yeah, I think I think he was obviously trending doubtful all week, and then when we got
but he wasn't touted that way. A big thing I've seen that influences ownership percentages is like shows on like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, how they talk about those guys, and all those shows, all those articles, all those podcasts mention that like Connor theoretically could be active for this game.
Yeah, I just wait for the Rappaport's tweet storms like late Saturday night and he was like, they're definitely like he's trending toward doubtful, and then the team downgraded him to doubtful, and I was like, oh, then Samuels is a lock.
Yeah.
Nate gave me some snark on the Barkley over Zeke play today, so I'm giving you the floor to explain why you played Barkley instead of Zeke.
Yeah, Nate, why did we play Barkley instead of Zeke? I'd love to know this also.
Well, a couple reasons. Number one, I think Barkley's just like more talented of a rusher.
Which
Number
is like
two-
the least Nate Nohling argument of all time. By the way.
Yeah, this is weird. This is already off the rails.
Number two, I projected Barkley to have a higher percentage of his team's rushing attempts and a higher percentage of his team's targets, which he did.
Zeke coming off the 40-touch game, you projected Barkley for a greater share.
Yeah, and again, I was correct in that. Barkley had 87% of his team's rushing attempts, while Zeke had 82%. Barkley had 22.7% of his team targets, while Zeke only had 20.5%. The reality is Saquon just was in a less efficient offense. Like Saquon did nothing.
Which by the way is true every single week of the NFL season, that he plays on a worse team.
Right, and also the Cowboys scored 0 points. Like, let's throw that out there.
They scored 0 points, and Zeke got 18.
Yeah, I mean, I for me, I really just like was splitting hairs between them, and I
don't think it's bad at all. Actually, I started out the week thinking that Barkley was better, but just when it became clear that Elliott was going to be so much more owned than Barkley, it wasn't something I felt nearly strong enough about to take a stance on.
Yeah, I don't know. I when it comes down to it, and the price discount on Zeke wasn't enough for me to get off of him, like there was no reason for me to go to Zeke other than ownership. Like I projected Barkley to have more workload. I projected Barkley to have more passing work. And I just think Barkley's just with the ball in his hands, like much better at making plays. Like
the thing I would grant you is that like Barkley definitely has a much better chance of them being down 20 points and them averaging like 1.8 yards per play, and then all of a sudden having like a 78-yard touchdown. He definitely has that edge on Zeke. The edge that I would give to Zeke would be, of course, like he is the team's first, second, and third game plan. The run blocking is way better, and they give him more opportunities in the red zone because they're in the red zone more often because they're a better offense. Like Nate, I would think you had Elliott projected for better touchdown probability than Barkley.
Yeah, let me pull that up. I probably did.
That's the thing with Elliott for me is like they were down what 20-0 and they had a trip to the red zone. Didn't you guys both think like, oh, Elliott's going to score here?
Yes.
Zeke had a slightly higher touchdown. Probably.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and I mean he didn't end up doing it, and the only reason he got to 18 was because he hit the meaningless 100-yard bonus or whatever. But I
don't think he did.
Did he not? I'm pretty sure he did. No,
I thought he had like 80 and 40. I think.
he had 7 catches though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mixon hit the 100-yard bonus at the end is what happened.
But I mean, New York had a higher implied team total going into the game. They had higher. Wasn't the game total was a little bit lower so it was obviously a less overall effective game environment. But I think like I don't know, maybe it was splitting hairs. Like it was. But I don't think Saquon was a bad play. Like I don't think
he wasn't. He wasn't bad. I just thought that like enough factors had added up, including ownership for me. And I don't know. I guess there is always that New York Giants stink on Barkley, especially with no Odell. That just makes me think things could go south. Really, although normally when things go south, Barkley gets like 17 targets, which didn't happen.
Yeah, you saw it last week. Every time they would get into the red zone, they would give him the ball on first down, second down. And then it's like, okay, if you don't score on the first 2 touches, then we'll throw it over to Shep. And it's like,
Barkley did get 10 targets today.
Yeah, he had a higher percentage of his team's targets and a higher percentage of his team's rushing attempts.
But here's what happened. So Evan Ingram ended up being the big beneficiary of Odell being out.
12 targets. Yeah.
And he kind of was last week too. I think he only had like 3 for 77, but he was way more involved. And I think the other thing is that they were playing a team, Tennessee, who is just like they turn games ugly. And we're talking about how many rush attempts that Baltimore had. Tennessee had 45.
Yeah.
And like a couple were kneel downs, but
Derrick Henry had 33 carries.
Yeah. It's
unbelievable. Hey, you guys, why didn't we just play Derrick Henry?
Oh, you mean the guy who had a 99-yard rushing touchdown and 4 touchdowns last week? Was he a good play this week as a home favorite?
Yeah, I guess he was. Didn't really consider him because I just think he's really bad at football, and maybe that was a mistake.
He's not, though. I actually think this is a really important thing to get out there. Derrick Henry is not bad. He just is very good at a skill set that's not super important in the NFL today. So he's going to continue to have those games with 8 carries for 18 yards where he like looks horrible and looks like he doesn't fit. But in this type of game and in last week's type of game, he is still very good at that north-south running. Like
you're absolutely right. He's that guy that if he's untouched for the first 4 yards, you're in a load of trouble.
He's like the absolute best version of like LeGarrette Blount. Like he is,
for sure.
He is the final. He is like the final form of that type of runner.
Yeah, he's like young Blount. But if you like hit him in the backfield or make him like shuffle or do anything, like
he's never making anybody miss. He just at no point is he ever evading a tackle, which is why they gave Dion Lewis so much money.
If I told you guys coming into the week that Saquon was going to have 88% of his team's rushing attempts and 22% of his team's targets, like what would you put his over/under at from a DraftKings points? Like 20?
Well, I'd ask how many pass attempts and rush attempts the Giants are actually going to have.
Yeah, I would say I would actually probably ask the final score of the game. If you had that amount of foresight, I'd probably ask the final score of the game.
Yeah, because the Giants scored 0 points too. That was a thing. The Giants and the Cowboys scored 0.
I actually thought the Giants would win this game though. So, or at least I thought that they would cover. So maybe I should have looked at Barkley more. I don't know.
Well, let me look at his actual... I just think it was splitting hairs. And what I actually did, I would have played Zeke if I needed that $400.
Yeah.
And I played a little heavier, like 3-mans and head-to-heads, as opposed to like 50-50s and double-ups, because differentiating in those kind of contests does actually give you an edge if you're right, as opposed to 50-50s and double-ups. Mm-hmm. Like if you play 100 head-to-heads, finishing in the 90th percentile does give you a lot of equity. And that's actually important. So people who say like you're only trying to beat 55% of the field or whatever, it's actually not true. It depends on like your game mix.
I should probably think about that a little bit more because I play a decent mix of both. I play about 150 head-to-heads, and then I get a similar amount of like dollar volume in the 50-50s.
Yeah, I think it's really important like to know what your lineup is. I almost like change my game selection mix a little bit based on what kind of lineups I end up with.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. All right, let's talk about wide receivers. I went Tyler Boyd, Sterling Shepard, and Juju Smith-Schuster. The one I have the regret about is not Juju. It's Shepard. Just because the only thought in my head I had for playing Shepard was, I think he's going to be very chalky, and if he gets like 19, I don't want to be just like murdered by that. But I liked Westbrook way more, and I don't even actually know what Westbrook had as a receiver because I played most of my tournament action on Yahoo this week. So let's Westbrook had 5 targets, so he led the team in targets, but they only threw 17 times, and he had 20 rushing yards as well. But obviously had the punt return. But yeah, I don't know. Nate, did you play Shepard too?
Yeah, I did, and it was painful. I mean, here's what I have to realize. Like, I'm not going to continue to do like 2 guys on teams like this anymore. Like, I just got to stop. Like, it's not that Shepard was a bad Holiday. It's not that Shepard was a bad play in a vacuum. He just wasn't. But like, gosh, what am I doing?
2 Giants though. Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, it was
got to see the forest for the trees. You got to like take a step back and like we don't play players in vacuums, you know.
I know.
We play entire teams.
Yeah, and Shepard, I mean, he was he had like 14 expected DraftKings points. He had the target share. He had like everything was. Yeah, everything was
his court. Like unlike Barkley, where you can be like, well, he's actually so transcendent, you can kind of divorce him a little bit from the offensive situation. Shepard is like a good player, but it's not like he's not Odell, you know, so he can't divorce himself from the circumstances that he finds himself in terms of like expected efficiency.
Yeah, like let me pull up what was the.
What you just said, Davis, sounded really smart. I got to tell you.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, that was just you're having a good season, mate.
Yeah, I mean he had 9 targets for
like nothing. He caught 2 of those targets.
Yeah, he had 145 air yards.
And one of them, by the way,
Oh my gosh, this is more tilting now that I look
So
at this.
Nate, did you get
God,
what?
this week was just tilt, guys.
Let me tell you though.
Sterling Shepard had 145 air yards. He's like an incredibly efficient receiver, and he caught 2.
One of them, Nate, hit him dead ass square in the hands. Like could not have been a clean, and like it was like a significant game. He had room up the field, and it went straight to the turf from his hands.
I think this is great that you actually watch more than a minute of this game, by the way.
Well, it was on red zone. It was on red zone a lot because, like, sometimes these games they last a lot longer, so you're getting the clips of those. Like, well, like it's just on this game while the other games are in halftime. That's what happened to this game. It happened to go at a time that was on red zone a bunch. The play, of course, here that was really tilting for me though was Boyd. Boyd was on pace to have a monster game. He was going to smash, and he got hurt.
Yeah. Dude, it sucks so bad when your guys get hurt mid-game.
I mean, if he didn't score that touchdown in the first quarter, things would have been dark for me.
I burned a couple $100 worth of entries on Showdown on Thursday night with Keenan Allen at 100% exposure, so I know your pain.
Yeah,
I mean, thank God I had the absolute stone nuts in Showdown cash that night because that game was brutal to attend. But I swept everything in cash.
Dude, I took your advice and I smashed a bunch of cash games, and I think we played the same lineup with Damian and the captain.
Yeah, you faded Keenan, and Keenan was 70% owned and put up a 0.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it wouldn't have mattered. I played Phil Rivers instead of him, and I would do it again even if he played 4 quarters.
Yeah.
If Keenan
we had the lineup, Davis. We had the Showdown lineup, and it was just sharp, and we won.
Yeah, what did I do at receiver? I went Shepard, Juju, Pettis.
So Nate Pettis, what did he do?
Pettis put up 13 DraftKings points. Let me actually pull up what
I really
for 83 on 5 targets.
Yeah. The reason I didn't like that play was Kendrick Bourne was back, and I I assumed they would just straight split that slot work. Which
no, they like Pettis.
No, they do, and Pettis has been good, but I just I preferred Dede over him.
Do you guys remember that week that Nate played Bourne in cash?
Yep.
I remember there's been some legendary bad plays. I played I played Mo Harris in cash. Nate played Martavis Bryant in cash.
No. You played an Oakland wide receiver once too. Who was it?
You did. I played Adrian Peterson once in cash.
No, Davis. Who was
I've never played Seth Roberts in cash.
You did.
I know I haven't. I've talked about it on the Swolecast a bunch.
Yeah, he touted him on the Swolecast,
but I've never actually played him. And then of course Sammy he was in Arizona. Just if any of us ever go to a banned state, we should just not play because it leads to us doing really bad things.
That is correct.
Yeah, Pettis ran really good to get what he did. I mean, he only got 5 targets and he converted all 5 of them for 83 yards. So I got
this game went to overtime too, and only 5 targets.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't pass a ton overall. I mean,
my God, I was so bad at picks this week against the spread.
Yeah, Pettis did get 18 or 17% target share, but it was at 4 point. I mean, he was at a weird spot at 4.2 or 4.3 or whatever he was at. So I struggled with receiver all week. I really the reason I struggle with receiver is because the guy that I wanted to play, I knew wasn't a cash play, and I couldn't play him, and that was Galladay. And then I just never felt good about it.
Dude, that's the Corey Davis play. Why didn't you go with him?
Galladay, I think, was a really good tournament play, and that's how I used him, but I just couldn't justify him in cash over Boyd.
Yeah, I had a ton of him in tournaments, but I couldn't get to him in cash. I just didn't have the balls.
Yeah. Well, I was totally different on receiver than you guys this week. I went Edelman Hilton. And
yeah, you were writing that that Edelman against the linebacker in the slot.
Yeah, and I mean, he was fine. 7 for 90 on
think he's
11 targets.
I thought he was just way overpriced for what Julian Edelman is these days.
Edelman's been really good,
he had the second best volume on the slate. I think he had 30% target share. I mean, I think Edelman was actually
he still remains Julian Edelman.
It was just a sharp play, man. It was just a good play. I wish he'd have caught one more ball because I was
Edelman was the football play. Edelman is the guys who
Yeah,
Like-
he's like the tape grinders
Yeah,
play for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I was
Which is
definitely they'll match him up with a linebacker.
Yeah.
Brady's gonna get it out quick against the blitz. Edelman's
I'm
gonna run all over.
0%. I'm drawing to 0% to ever play a guy based off of watching film.
Tell me more about the coverage scheme and how.
Yeah, Sammy, tell me more about how defenses matter, bro.
He went 7 for 90. It was a good play.
And then you also wouldn't have played Galladay because he was shadowed by.
I mean, just how bad could Smith-Schuster run to get 8? Like, how bad?
Dude, he almost caught a touchdown right at the end, and it was knocked away at the last second.
If Juju puts up 20 here, we all cash easy, right? Like Juju wasn't even owned. He was like 20%.
Juju has not gotten.
Well, I didn't play Juju.
Juju's gotten single-digit points once this year against Cleveland.
Wait, Sammy, you didn't play Juju?
No, I played Edelman, Hilton, and Michael freaking Gallup, who got a pass interference.
Let me tell you this. That's the worst. That is the worst. That's the worst play anyone's made on this show all year.
No. It was a bad play. It was a bad play, but not worse than my Adrian Peterson play. So
not worse than Martavis Bryant, who played 8 snaps that week. Nate played.
No, Bryant was a better play.
Sammy, you're lucky you faded this Juju game. He literally got 10 targets and only converted 4 of them.
Well, Michael Gallup got 0 targets, so whatever.
The thing is
29% target share in the highest total game of the week, and you faded him and got out alive.
Well, he did because he still lost. He still lost because he replaced.
But he should have gotten smashed.
Julian
This should have been a Christian McCaffrey 50 burger on his face again.
We can come back to Gallup, but we got to talk about the fact that Sammy ate 2 zeros in cash.
And at the highest score.
Yeah.
Because you
didn't lose all my money. I got most. I think I was down a little bit today, but I got most of my money back.
You guys want to just guess how much American dollars I got back out of the slate with this horrible lineup?
Like what percentage?
No, you can just guess that. You guys know about how much I play.
Oh, I'm gonna guess $43 American.
I got. This is so bad. I got $174 back.
It's better than I thought. That's good.
That's better than I thought, actually. I was gonna say 70, so.
It was really bad. It was really bad. But at least I didn't play Anthony Ferkser.
So, I mean,
what were you doing?
I mean, here's the thing. You can clown my Gallup play all you want, but it was not my worst play of the week.
The show is supposed to be educational. It's supposed to help people out. And
here's what not to do. Do not play Anthony freaking Ferkser in cash games.
How much? Is he a blocking tight end? What does he even do?
I don't think he got. It's not even that I got 2 goose eggs. It's that neither Ferkser nor Gallup got a target. Do you know how hard that is to do? To play 2 guys who didn't have a single target.
Well, I think technically Gallup got a target because he did draw the pass interference.
Yeah, but that doesn't show up in the box score.
So Luke Stalker and Michael Pruitt, other tight ends for the Tennessee Titans, both had a target and a reception in this game, Sammy.
Oh my God. My throat is so sore from just getting banged all day by Anthony Ferkser.
So I played Vernon Davis at tight end, which I don't know. I mean, should I even feel that bad about that?
No. I played Uzoma and put up 3.5 points. Dropped 4 targets.
Well, good job, guys.
Here's the thing. No one
– Guys, it was a bad week. Uzoma had 5 targets and converted one of them for – oh, my gosh.
Right, do you know what I would do to get 5 targets for my tight end? I mean, that sounds like a million targets compared to what I did.
It was a really weird week in terms of a lot of playoff semifinals and stuff look really weird because a lot of guys did not do well this week, and a lot of guys who were Dalvin Cook, he's not on any playoff teams. Derrick Henry, he's not on any playoff teams. Alshon Jeffrey, probably not on a ton of playoff teams.
I'm gonna lose a seasonal matchup by 1 point because I had Saquon, and I'm gonna tilt my face off.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that happened. I guess. I mean, Jeremy Sprinkle, got 3 targets. So I guess for Washington, I wasn't really expecting them to use and throw the ball to other tight ends. I just kind of assumed Vernon Davis would be the only game in town, and that is That is not what happened.
I should have played Sprinkle over Ferkser.
Well, okay, I'll be honest. I didn't remember what number Vernon Davis was, so I saw a big
85.
dude. I saw a big dude with a big 8 on his jersey score a touchdown, like on red zone, and I was like, "Oh my god, did I just bink a Vernon Davis touchdown?" No, I didn't. Jeremy scored.
No, he's 85. You got to grind the film, man.
I mean,
gotta grind the film.
Clearly, I think this week shows that I'm not an expert in knowing what number NFL players wear on their jerseys.
Hashtag Mattek moments. That was really good, bro. That was really good for the brand.
Ugh, not great.
That was,
all right. What did you guys do at defense?
wait, can I defend my Gallup pick real fast?
No, there is
no man. It was pretty bad. Like he was a super thin GPP play.
All right, no, you guys are right. Let's move on.
Well, okay.
You're right. You're just right. It's just a no.
I'll do the defense for you. There was like a lot of Cowboys optimism this week, and the thing you got to understand is that they're still the same animal. Dak is still not an elite quarterback. Jason Garrett, not an elite coach. Scott Linehan, not an elite play caller. And adding, like, they have Amari Cooper, they have Ezekiel Elliott. So sometimes they're going to have these games where they score a bunch of points and they look really good. But their offense is all super reliant on their amazing offensive line and amazing Ezekiel Elliott and amazing Amari Cooper and these other secondary pieces when they have good games. Cole Beasley, one of the tight ends, whoever, it is an accident. It is completely an accident.
So I think the thing is that Gallup was like your Riddick play from a couple weeks ago, just worse.
Yeah.
But it was in the sense that I did not want to play 2 cheap tight ends or 2 cheap wide receivers. I thought these guys were trash. I thought they'd burn people. And I really wanted to play Edelman and T.Y. Hilton. And I was just willing to eat it at wide receiver 3. And Gallup the last 3 weeks had 6, 7, and 9 targets.
Yeah.
He was getting used. I think he's a pretty decent player. He had air yards. I was like, dude, I think he can catch, 4 balls for, 50 yards or whatever. And, I thought he was just as good as like some of the $4,000 plays. And that's my justification. Obviously, like, I'm a fish. So let's
One
move
thing
on.
I actually do want to talk to you, Sammy, is your TY play, because I think that took some balls. I actually like TY a little bit.
Yeah. What did he end up getting? Because I feel like he had a ball load of air yards.
He did, but he didn't end up with a giant game. He was close. He had 5 for 85 on.
He was wide open deep on one of them, and Luck underthrew him, so he had to sit down to catch it.
I was tilted. 5 for 85 on a team leading 8 targets.
Yeah, TY was like 3rd on the week in overall Whopper, and that includes DeAndre.
Marlon Mack with the 27 carries and 2 touchdowns.
Easy game. Won somebody a milli. I think the thing about Hilton was just that the entire week I thought he was too cheap for 6.8. I just thought he was too cheap to be a legit number 1 receiver. And obviously he had injury concerns and all this stuff. And but at the end of the day, I thought that this price made up for that. I was willing to take it because I wasn't paying full freight. I thought he should have been, 7,500, 7,600. So,
yeah. I just, with him not practicing, I actually like him, but I had to exclude him just because I didn't know if he was going to be able to run. And if he's, TY is one of those guys who's like kind of like Tyreek is one of those guys who it's like, if he's not fully healthy, I don't want any of them,
Yeah. It was just like
Hilton is not like that for me because they use him they have specific end zone plays for him, and he had a touchdown. He
just missed that touchdown, like a 2-yarder too.
He was against Jalen Smith, and he just burnt him, and the whole play was designed for him to get open. And Luck, I actually think Luck just threw it, a millisecond too early. If you give him another second to get past, like he was coming past the offensive line, and you just give him a millisecond to look back, that would have been a touchdown.
Luck boned it, and that's actually, it's almost like the Decker play. It's not the same thing, but they've run this play.
Oh, please don't, man. You can't.
Yeah, but I'm serious.
It's like the Decker play? No. The Decker play
it's not
100%.
The Decker play never failed, bro. The Decker play was 100 for 100. That play resulted in a touchdown 100% of the time.
Well, they've run this play for Hilton. He scored a couple touchdowns on it this season. Like it's one of their favorites. Got to grind the film for that.
I just got goosebumps, dude. I just got goosebumps thinking.
Those are the days, man.
I'm gonna go pull up Eric Decker's PFR right now. I just need to go. I just need to go look at it, man.
You need to go back and remember the better times.
It's just like he was free money in fantasy drafts every year.
There was a year where he didn't like put less than 15 DraftKings points on a game for like 10 games straight.
Yeah,
Well, he scored a touchdown every day.
I mean,
in
2015,
and he was still $5,000 every slate.
in 2015, as a member of the New York Jets with a combination of Ryan Fitzpatrick and
Josh
Geno
McCown
Smith as his quarterback, he scored 12 touchdowns, and Brandon Marshall had 14 that year.
Was that Fitzmagic year?
That was one of the Fitzmagic years. He only threw let's see how many interceptions he threw that year. He only threw 15 that year, which is a pretty good year for him in terms of interceptions.
Are we just going to start – like, when do we start playing Devonta Adams in cash every week just because, like, he's proving to us that he just has, like, the highest floor of any wide receiver every week?
Is he?
I don't know, but I'm going to play Michael Gallup in tournaments next week and win $1 million.
Is he in the – we got to see if he's in the main slate for next week.
Oh. I mean, they're at home against Tampa Bay. So
No, not – are you talking about Gallup or Adams?
Gallup.
Sammy, nobody wants to talk to you about Gallup.
Adams is against the Jets, 8,500 on the road next week.
Easy game. Yeah, we gotta play Adams and Gallup and GPPs. That's your early advice for Week 16.
Jalen is up to 6,700 against New Orleans.
Connor will be back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, defense, though, I actually thought I made a play that was super sharp, and it looked really good for about a half. And then Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. Got it.
You went the Lions at 2K, didn't you?
Yeah. They were like 2.3, I think.
2.5.
Yeah.
Man, I went with the Ravens because a couple reasons. Number one, I think the Ravens defense is obviously –
They were like the highest projected defense of the week. I think they were good.
Yeah, they were like – and I got onto them even more after I heard the weather report.
The weather, yeah.
And I was like, man, this is going to be a smash play. Got off the Falcons, and I was like, this is the play. Lamar Jackson's going to rush it 25 times for 100 yards. Defense, they're going to run the ball 50 times. I felt really good about it.
Sammy, did you play the Falcons defense in cash?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's why you beat us.
I was trying to figure out. Look,
Sammy had a terrible lineup.
Listen to the rest of Sammy's lineup. I was
read the lineup like quarterback down. Just read it for the listeners.
I had Brady, Saquon, Gallup,
This is the worst lineup of the year.
I still beat you, Fish.
I'm so mad, dude.
I just wanted to throw my computer halfway through today.
I actually,
guys.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually stopped watching today. It was just too much.
I mean, I don't know how you guys didn't play the Falcons. Like, what was that about?
I played them. I told you the Ravens were I felt I was sharp getting onto the Ravens.
Dude, quarterbacks against or defenses against Josh Allen. Like, I know he just like randomly like he's still a horrible passer. He still makes like LOL bad decisions. Things are just kind of working out for him right now. But like I think playing a defense against him is fine.
You're crazy. Like, this game was in Buffalo. They were wearing the Reds. Like, what are you thinking about?
I believe the Colts had 21 DraftKings points in Buffalo against the Bills.
Look, let me just tell you this. You guys have not freaking lived until you've played the Falcons defense in cash and had Deion Jones in your most important seasonal fantasy league as an IDP and have him intercept a ball for a touchdown.
I definitely
have not lived into
IDP league doesn't surprise me or the listeners in the least. Sam.
Yeah. If
like
the listeners had to nominate one of us that played in an IDP league, it would definitely be you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was lit.
What are you? Like,
all right.
Just a savant, dude. I just do everything and I smashed it.
You didn't smash anything, man. You played Ferkser and cash.
Michael Gallup.
There was no smash.
Dude.
All right, we gotta talk about Showdown for tomorrow.
Do you guys want to talk about Yahoo for a quick second before we do?
If it wasn't for the Yahoo, like,
well, I don't want to talk about it because I blanked.
No, dude, I 6x'd on Yahoo just because of all the overlay. It was nice.
Yeah. Oh, you 6x? Nice.
Yeah, I put up like 144 on Yahoo.
I would have broken even had that Josh Reynolds touchdown stood because I had him on like 5
Yeah, 148.2 on one of my Millie teams over there.
That's solid. I mean, that tournament ended up filling up. So
Which
I think
was crazy, by the way. I thought there was no. It was like I think it was 16 of 37 on Saturday.
I mean, people did a really good job of getting the word out. I thought it was a great tournament, and if you did not play it, you're just a damn fish. I mean, it was great.
It was free. Yeah, that's like when we talk about bankroll stuff and like game selection, that was a must play from that perspective. Like you're giving up money if you didn't play that.
So like I definitely like deposited on Yahoo and like max entered that tournament, and I didn't do amazing, but I won a couple $100, and it's great.
Well, screw you guys, man. I got wrecked.
Great tournament. You got to play Gurley, man. You just had to play Todd Gurley.
Yeah, well, I did. I had a good amount of Gurley, but what wrecked me was that I had one of Barkley or Zeke on 8 of 10 teams.
I had too much Fournette.
That was just, and I had Fournette. I just ate it. And even like I had teams, like I had like good teams or like good pieces. Like I had like Cook on a couple teams. I had Diggs on a couple teams, but like it didn't end up mattering because I had like all these random really bad plays. And I like Kittle didn't do very well. I had Ebron on a bunch of teams. He did nothing.
Yeah, I played way too much Ebron on Yahoo.
Yeah.
This week was just the worst. Nobody did well.
Correct. Bro, the cash line was 125 points.
Yeah, it was really low.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, Kittle, Ebron, like where – I don't think it was possible for me to make a lineup that would have been like – with these results, I would never have gotten to a profitable lineup today.
I could have gotten to a profitable lineup had I just like found a way to play Cook instead of Samuels, I think maybe.
Yeah, if I had not played two guys that got 0 targets, like I would have smashed this slate to hell. I would have just been rich as hell.
I mean, if you actually want to talk about it, if Brady leads a drive there at the end of overtime and they score a touchdown instead of just being like
no, I didn't ask like if the slate played out different. I said with what the slate, how the slate played out.
How the slate played out, I guess the way I would have won would have been Cook over Samuels because I think Cook got like 37.
And I wouldn't have done that.
I considered it just because I liked Cook so much, but the thing is, I didn't see a good concession. Like there wasn't a cheap wide receiver I liked, and I didn't want to come off Juju.
Yeah, I won on FanDuel because I had Cook in cash.
I guess actually the thing I could have done would have been to play like Edelman
Correct.
Over Juju, and then get Cook over Samuels. I think that almost works. Maybe I'd have to go to a cheaper defense or something. Not like the 2 points I got from the Lions could have been replaced by literally any other defense.
Yeah, all you had to do was play the Falcons and you win money. Easy game.
Tough, boys. All right, let's talk about Showdown for Monday night. Pretty interesting when these two teams play. How will Curtis Samuels be 99% owned or 100% owned? He is the leading target getter for the Panthers the last 2 weeks. Has 11 and 8 targets in back-to-back games and is 6,400. He is the least expensive, like, core skill position player.
Is he? I guess the big question is not are you going to play him, but is he the guy that you think is optimal for captain?
No. When the Saints play, you gotta distribute your mix with like Thomas, Breeze, and then the opposing quarterback. That's what you do when the Saints play.
I hate playing anyone on the Saints because they spread the ball around so much. Like, it's very difficult.
I've actually done really well in Saints showdowns because you just Taysom Hill always eats up like 10% of ownership. People always play him.
What?
Yeah.
Dan Arnold is the play.
Yeah, I agree.
Dan Arnold, $600 tight end. He's going to see – he's like – you're not going to get a zero – he's not going to zero you. You know, he's got like –
at Cold Takes Exposed.
I'm going to have a lot of Dan Arnold. He's like the filler that makes it work so that you can get lineups in with Cam,
I actually think
McCaffrey.
Kirkwood, he's been playing a lot. Kirkwood has.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think he's a good play. Arnold is, but like there is definitely a lot of percentage that he zeros.
I know, but he's 600. So like you need to find some of these guys to get in there to be able to jam in with the price that McCaffrey's at, with the price that, you know, Cam and Breeze. I think it's going to be tough. if there's one like high price fade for me, it would probably be, probably Thomas. Yeah, I Moore's price is now, I don't know, at 8,000. I'll probably have plenty of more too. So.
I mean, the sharp play is Jarius Wright, who's actually been out snapping and out targeting Devin Funchess the last couple weeks, and he's only 2,400. He's like a total nothing player, but he could like absolutely luck box into 11 DraftKings points.
Well, let's go back for a minute here. What do you guys think is the most likely thing to happen in this game?
I actually
kind of think the Saints smash them, or do you think this is a tough game?
I actually kind of think that New Orleans blows the door off. They have their long week for them because they played early last week against Dallas, and also like Sean Payton is definitely the type of guy who likes to put the foot on the gas anyways, even if they're up. But coming off of that embarrassing game against Dallas, and Breeze after that Mahomes loss now has a little like he lost the MVP and then Mahomes just lost against the Chargers, so it's like back in play again. So
and the Rams lost, so they're in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed and home field advantage throughout the NFC if they win this.
Well, I'm not even talking about motivation reasons. I'm talking about like play calling, like assuming they are up by a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. I think New Orleans runs away with this one.
Well, Cam
I do not. I'm taking the contrarian take, and I actually think this game is going to be low scoring, and I think it's going to be close.
Well, the thing is,
have you seen Carolina play?
Cam is hurt, bro.
Carolina's not going to be able to move the ball.
I know. But the reality is this is a divisional matchup. They're playing for the second time this year, and those games tend to be a little disappointing scoring-wise, and it's in Carolina. And I think this is their last gasp to save their season. So I think it's going to be a tough game.
McCaffrey's going to have to see so many touches in this game.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you cannot make a lineup without McCaffrey, IMO.
I mean, which I think fading McCaffrey in these tournaments is that's like DFS 101 in terms of leverage.
I mean, just go with the passing game, get Moore and the who's the tight end, Ian Thomas,
or just go they just get blown out and play like Kamara Ingram lineups together and stuff like that.
But that's the thing about with McCaffrey is even in blowout, he's game script proof. It doesn't matter what the script is, he's going to get the work.
Well, I'm just saying, I know
he can't. That's why I think when I look at Kamara or Michael Thomas, there are game scripts where those guys can be untouched in the second half, where it's McCaffrey's going to get work here regardless.
And that's why I kind of think he's unfadable. I know that theoretically you should fade in big scale tournaments. You should fade the most owned players, regardless of how good they are. But I just think McCaffrey in a 1-game slate is just so likely to be, one of the top couple point scorers, if not the top.
I mean, I just know that people who are crazy good at tournaments and are like Drew B, those dudes, they just go the other way of the crowd. It's not about the projecting of the plays. It's just all game theory. And game theory would say, if you fade McCaffrey, you're basically locked into a unique lineup. If McCaffrey posts 19 DraftKings points, you're locked into profit, and you're drawing at a way better odds of having the stone best lineup on the side.
And if he pulls a Keenan Allen, you're just rich.
Yeah, you're at that point you're just printing.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
There are a couple different ways to play Showdown, which is why I like it so much. There's the trying to just get the most optimal projected points lineups and just trying to figure out ways to do that. There's the telling a story way to create lineups, which is kind of what I do, where I look at a game and I'm like, okay, I think if it plays out this way, this guy has a super explosive ceiling. It didn't end up working out, but I actually did think that the Eagles would be able to score tonight. So I captained Golden Tate in 50% of my lineups, which Alshon ended up having the game. But I was if they're able to score, I think Golden Tate was 6,000 or whatever. So I was that's a reasonable way to get some ceiling in this game. And then the third way is just the game theory way, where you're looking at the way the pieces correlate and really letting ownership projections dictate a lot of what you're doing in terms of exposures. And the third way probably offers the greatest percent chance of every slate of hitting like the absolute best lineup. I would say, like, just not even really trying to worry too much about individual projections, but just being like, look, McCaffrey is going to be, what do you think he'll be, like 40% of the captain lineups probably?
Yeah, maybe less because he's so expensive.
I think it's going to be less than that. I think.
Well, regardless of it, I would expect it to be in captain. I would expect it to be anywhere from 20 to 40%, and his total ownership percentage, I would expect to be anywhere from, I don't know, 55 to 60, 70% owned something. Yeah. And only not higher than that because he is so expensive. And his odds of being the absolute best play on the slate are certainly lower than that. They're probably 15%, maybe probably not even that high.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're definitely higher than 15%.
No.
Yeah.
There is a 0% way in, like, if you ran 10,000 simulations of this, would he end up being the highest scoring player more than 15% of the time?
All right, lay me 6-1. I'll take 6-1.
Sammy, you got quarterbacks, you got Thomas, you got Kamara, you got like.
Yeah, I'll take 6-1.
You want 6-1 on McCaffrey being the highest scoring player of the slate?
Yeah.
Well, I will run projections tomorrow, and I'll tell you if I think that's a good bet or not. I haven't looked at any projections yet.
Yeah, 1 out of 7 is 14.3%, so that's pretty close right there.
Yeah, I think that's actually probably a case where, like, I'm less likely to take the bet because well, no, not saying I wouldn't, but
perfectly mathematically. Okay. So this is one of those times that I'm going to say a number, but when asked to back it up,
well, first of all, I would have to look, but second of all, like, the 10,000 simulations includes times that, like, Dan Arnold is the highest scoring player of the slate, that Keith Kirkwood is the highest scoring player of the slate, when in practicum of running this game once and the way games are called, like that just it truly would never happen. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's why you're simulating probability, Davis. Like,
Davis just said practicum.
Davis, you're like misunderstanding probabilities. If you truly believe that Christian McCaffrey is not going to be the highest score, less than 15% of the time, then Sammy giving you 6-1 is a good bet.
Well, and I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at any projections yet, but I will look tomorrow and I'll tell Sammy if I'll take it or not.
Okay. DMs are open.
He's actually probably way less than 15%. I should probably take this bet.
I would agree. I think you should, Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, let's just book that right now.
Okay, perfect.
I think that was sharp, Davis.
Booked.
Christian McCaffrey, 85-yard reception touchdown to start the game.
I'm gonna get some money out of this 50 burger someday, some way this season.
Yeah, you say Christian McCaffrey has not been kind to you, bro. This is
I'm chasing my money right now.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That was
He's a 6-point dog. Like, I understand. I mean, I think you're on the sharper side of this bet, Davis.
Well, I just think, like, especially when the Saints play, like, I actually think that a lot of the times the second highest projected quarterback is kind of like a chase play in showdown. I think a lot of the times one quarterback lineups are optimal, but with, like, Newton's rushing upside and Breeze having, like, legit 40-point ceiling, I actually think McCaffrey's definitely worse than 15%.
Yeah,
Breeze, you guys can eat my bungus. Pay me, Davis.
Breeze and Cam's ceiling is I think you're on the sharper side of that, Davis.
I just need Michael Thomas for 47.
Easy game.
All right, boys. That's going to do it. I think the people got everything they needed from this show.